Hey everybody, Ed McLaren here. Hello out there in cyber world. Where in the world is Ed? Believe it or not, I'm in Las Vegas. Doesn't look like it when I see behind me, but I'm at one of my former students' house, and I'm coming to you live tonight, or taped, I guess, because I want to do a special Raves and occasional Rants, a little bit of a masterclass. Recently, a former student of mine, Omar Mustafa, and I kind of came up with this technique called the expanded model technique to work with zirconia in an unsintered state. So I'm going to do a short, maybe 10-12 minute lecture here on the technique, how to do it, and then you can reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll talk about a paper we've already published. All right, here we go. Okay, let's get into it. Basically, this is a technique that I'll be talking about in this new book coming up. I've been talking about for 4 years, and it's really actually getting pretty close to done. One of the challenges that I've always had with zirconia is to be able to finish the materials on a cast so I could see the relationship between the teeth. So just from some simple manipulation inside a printer, we can actually expand the model to the unsintered zirconia. So let's talk about that. Okay, so this is the typical problem that we have is after we machine our restorations, they're roughly 20-25% oversized. So we kind of have to guess how to put surface texture in and final finish to go from the top to the bottom, which can be actually quite challenging. So this technique that we came up with, we call it optimized aesthetic contouring of pre-sintered zirconia, an expanded cast technique. We've been doing it for a couple of years to work out the bugs. And so recently it got published in the Journal of Prosthetic Dentistry. You can look it up. It probably is on my website. I have a little bit of lag time between publishing, and they allow me to put it out publicly. So the technique was developed by Dr. Omar Mustafa, a new young superstar, one of my former students, now in the professorial series at Louisville University, and me, after I beat my eye up, and with a little input from Archibald. And so those are the primary people. So the real issue is this, is that after we machine and we've got our working cast and working dies, nothing fits down because it's roughly 25% larger. So that's our basic problem. All right, so you see it just doesn't fit down on the cast. So since it oversized relative to the cast, the idea is, could we go the other way? Could we grow the cast to fit it? And through experimentation, and I'll basically tell you the simple technique right now, is we're gonna make a second cast. We're gonna grow the cast a very specific amount and print it, scale it up basically, so that we have a pre-sintered cast and then a post-sintered cast. So that's a simple concept, but how do you do it? I started recently using a SprintRay printer, which is super easy to use and gives a great result. And I'll be talking more about that. I'll be incorporating that in some courses coming up. But essentially the technique, and this is critical, we found out, there is a number on the side of every disc. This is the expansion or contraction factor, and you need to plug this exact number in the printer. Now, I used a different disc when I printed this, so this number will be just a little bit different when you see this. But you need to know exactly what disc you're going to use for the restorations you're going to machine. And normally you would plug in exactly that number, 1.2174%, okay? So actually, this is the printer we're using today, but there's also an excellent printer if you want to go off market, the Elegoo printer. You need to get the special setup from Archibald, the gentleman that I mentioned. And same thing in the Elegoo printer, we would go in, and there's a function that we can scale up or scale down a model. And so we bring up that option, and then we need to know the exact disc that we're going to machine it from, and we plug in that exact number into the X, Y, and Z plane. And then we print it. And I actually like it with removable dies so that I can check it on the dies. And this is before and after the rendering or the design on the computer. And then again, we have two models. I'm actually using the new resin material that Archibald developed with a little bit of input from me. You can reach out to him directly on that. Okay, so then the idea, you just machine like you normally would machine your restorations, whatever the design of your restorations would be. Okay, And then if you've done everything perfectly, they'll fit down on the cast, just like your final restorations, the oversized restorations now on your oversized cast. And your check basically is this: look how well that fits. Now, we usually design it with a little extra material at the margins, so we end up having to go and finish it down. But if we do it right, put in the right numbers, the fit is exceptional, okay? So however you choose to finish it down, that's a topic for a different lecture. All right, so basically we get to this. So after our machining, cutting off our sprues, making sure our margins are okay, our contact should have been right on unless we added extra material. And then it's really easy, like we've all done with whether we're building up teeth in the mouth or we're doing something in the laboratory. I've got a cast with all the proper relationships. So I can relate one tooth to the other, surface texture, contacts, relationships. Now it is oversized, so it's not the exact measurement, but the proportions are exactly the same. That's the technique. Please go look up the article.